Good morning, everyone. Hope you're all going well. Is it urban legend, or did Einstein only really have 5 suits? 7 suits. 7 days in a week, isn't it? Suppose how long that's been since I paid attention to such things. But yeah, did Einstein only have 7? Why is it tufty bit there? Beads going everywhere today. 7 suits. Did he just cycle through them? One of those things. I was thinking about how I always appear in one of 2 jumpers. I have grey jumpers and I have black jumpers, because these are the jumpers you can buy cheaply from the hardware store in Australia. The big green box sells cheap clothing sometimes. You buy your clothing there. Not because of the brand name, but just because it will last you slightly longer than any other cheaply made stuff. If I disappear, it's because someone's walking past me the other way. Poignant thoughts for today. Yesterday's run was good. It's weird now that it's gone down to, it's like run once a week. Do a far, I think it's far tack, I think that's how you say it. It's like high intensity training. There's another word for that, I don't know what it is. Ooh, sun. There's another word for that. High intensity training thing. You know, like running for a minute, walking for a minute, running for a minute, walking for a minute. That happens on a Wednesday or third day now. So that's my tomorrow. Because I was decided to be a lazy ass and not go for a run the day following my timed run. I don't know if it's lazy or clever. Anyway, I don't have the excuse of I'm allowed to run whatever day I want to. So yeah, today is a walking day. I have already been for a walk. I have some GPS logging results from the first half of my walk, and hopefully that means I can stitch up the 2 sides of the run that mean that I can work out where the hell it is I'm running on the map and then work out the distances. I've had this issue whereby the GPS logs the location disparagingly. Bye. Please excuse my absence. It was 0 time for you, and it was about 30 seconds for me to a minute. I had to say good morning to someone and apologise for my dog being a pain in the bum. I was talking to one of the nice gentlemen who lives down the side of my workplace, and he was telling me about a new walk that I could do down here, so we might go and check that out later in the week. We might go and explore down there. Supposedly it goes the other way, that way, from here. And it goes around. I don't know how, if you can get through or not, but we'll have a look. The other place to go explore is actually over there. You can go over there. Obviously not through the big green safety barrier, which is kind of useless. I suppose it stops people from falling in the creek in the middle of the night, but hey, if you're not clever enough to bring a torch in the Australian bush at night, then you're probably not clever enough to go for a walk at night. You know, there's a certain level of Darwin Award in the universe. It's finally gotten actually frosty, like properly frosty. I got down to -2 last night here, so there is just icicles everywhere, as you can probably see. The ground is covered in frost. If you have a ground covered in frost, it's a good day to go and smash your paddo. It's Patterson's curse. Also known as Salvation Jane, depending on which state you're in Australia. It's a very deep-rooted herbaceous plant, which is either the bane of a farmer's life or it is the lifeblood of a farm, depending on how you approach it. It's like, is it a weed or is it a salvation? It's a very strange thing, isn't it? Anyways, the creek is looking very pretty. The willow trees are growing again, as you can see, even though they're not supposed to be, because no one has done any remedial thing. I quite like the willow trees. I know they're supposedly bad for the ecology of the creek, but desperate times, desperate measures. Don't get all wet, it's freezing cold. Come here. Yes, we're going that way like we always do. Yes. What else do I have to say? Not much of anything useful. Annoyed that I lost my video. What did I talk about? No, I lost my hour-long video. Oh, bye again. I really did choose the wrong time to go for a walk, or the wrong day. Need to get up earlier. Keep getting up early. Keep getting having to do things though. This morning I had to drop someone off the bus stop. Oh, the joys of children. And that made me something like, I was up at 7:07, ready to go at 7:15, and didn't get out of the house until 10 to 8. And the intervening time was not used overly productively. I patted the dog a lot. Probably the only thing of note that happened in that intervening time. Yeah. So, what was I going to say? So, in the last video which I lost, where I went all the way out there, twice, I went to a new spot I'd never found before. I was trying to think back what I discussed. Talked a little bit about soil ecology and organic farming, which I will cover again later. Come here, dog. Also talked about, I decided I'd change it. People talk about veganism. I like it when the people say vegans, I think it's funnier. Plus 10 points if you got the reference. I always thought that was far funnier. Hello Sam. Hello Sean, you'll never watch this. But anyway. Yeah, I was always intrigued with it. But I think a better term, in terms of being less, evolving the term, veganism means a lot of different things to a lot of different people. And I think it's incorrectly placed and incorrectly used. And I think a better terminology which has come about maybe in the last year is a plant-based diet. So a diet being the way in which you selectively eat something. You know, you choose to eat a diet rather than just choosing to stuff yourself full of food. And you, in this case, you're choosing to make up a large percentage of your calories by eating plants, which is interesting, rather than as opposed to animals or animal products. So yeah, my hour-long rant of chatting said nothing really about the world of veganism or plant-based diets that has not already been rehashed and does not need to be rehashed. You can ask questions in the comments below if you ever want to know my viewpoint, and I'm sure that will be a very long and very boring video for everyone else. So there we go. Back on the road again. What else was I about? So soil ecology and organics. That was interesting, kind of. We'll cover that another day when I have more time. And we're going to go with plant-based dietary. Why that's a good idea, what that does for you, why that has to change. Lots more research involved. Yeah. I'll pose the question then. I think my only stipulation of people being on a plant-based diet is people who wish to train as strength athletes, who wish to put on copious amounts of weight as easily as possible. And for everyone who doesn't know, if you are like I was as a young man, very, very underweight comparative to the normal, in my case just because of super fast metabolism, you know, could literally eat McDonald's every night for a week and wouldn't put on a pound. But when you get to be more than about 25, no longer will your body do that. Your body no longer processes food in the same way. So it's considerably easier for me now to, if I want to, put on weight. It's also considerably easier for me to lose weight as well. I can do that without even trying, because I still have a reasonably fast metabolism. You know, if I portion control and don't stuff myself, and I eat decent food, then I will naturally lose some weight, especially when doing stuff like running 3 times a week, or jogging 2 times a week, and running once a week. So I have dropped from smack bang on the money at 80 kilos, to now I am like 77 kilos in 6 weeks, which is not something that needs to be repeated ad infinitum if you weigh what I do and are as tall as I am. I'm about 6'1", 6'2", on a good day, uncompressed. More interesting things. Anyways, enough about diets and food. Diets and food is interesting, but only marginally so. I was talking to V yesterday about, just briefly, about the strength tabling in military forces. What do you want? Why are you hanging out with me? You don't need to be here now. Don't run around like a mad thing. And there you go. Just to prove I got there again, there's the cutaway. One day there'll be someone here waiting for me when I arrive at the cutaway, and I'll have camped overnight. It'll be like paparazzi. You arrived! Well, yeah, I'll be here every flipping day. This is a daily occurrence. Sometimes it happens at 11 o'clock at night, and sometimes it happens at 9 o'clock in the morning. But it's literally a daily occurrence. Or I generally try and make it be one. What was I going to say? Strength tables, not strength tables, like fitness tables for military forces. So I am generally amazed that people will watch other people on YouTube going for a run. That's just bizarre in my head. It's a weird thing. Like, you know, often go and listen to someone talking about, I will often go and listen to someone talking about or discussing a technique they're using, or how to do this or how to do that, whatever. But I will not often sit there and watch people going and doing exercise, because I'm not really interested. Yeah, like it's like G-rated pornography for the masses. You know, the people who get massive views on these things are basically, you know, young women who are exceptionally toned and very athletic and probably very hungry. I think my shoe is coming undone. They are not 40-year-old bearded men. There are a few 40-year-old bearded men who make a living out of YouTube, but that's mainly by dissing out and cussing at cussing in English, an Americanism, cussing, swearing at other YouTubers about how inefficient their system is versus the system that I own. Gotta dump my shoe. You can sit on a log. Sitting on the log. Here, look at the tree in the background while I dump my log. Dump my shoe. So normally YouTubers will just make money by dissing the shit out of one another and not talking about anything that's remotely useful, which can be quite entertaining to watch. I mean, it's, you know, certainly speaks to a part of the human intellect, I would more say stupidity, that people are remotely interested in what a third party thinks about a fourth party whose, you know, sum total of knowledge is probably written down in a 100-page book on any specialist subject. Yeah, you know, these people are not rocket scientists or even scientists in the general form. You know, they are people who look buff. I do not look buff. Do not take my nutritional advice. No, I do take my nutritional advice. I actually did some research. I actually don't need to die of a heart attack. But there you go. But like, my nutritional advice is summed up in 2 acronyms. So that's funny, isn't it? Two acronyms, and try and eat more vegetables. Try and eat more plants. 2 acronyms. the whole nutritional advice of YouTube can be summed up thusly. But yeah, so going back a step, you get people making a lot of viewage points off of people watching them do fitness challenges. And it's like, the fitness challenge of, like, do the Marine fitness test and the Marine combat fitness test, do the Army fitness test, and are you able to do these things? Which is kind of where this didn't really come from, that in the whole over the go-go sense. We basically latched onto it because we basically latched onto it because the Guardian newspaper in the UK 10 years ago now published a slightly edited but basically true to form British Army training manual, which allowed you to increase your running strength. And I did it 10 years ago when it first came out. When it first came out, it was in the newspaper, and I remember going, this is a good idea. So before I'd moved back to Australia, I was running around the arse end of Derbyshire in England, D43 represent. That's the start of the postcode. And running around like a mad thing in the bush, sort of as part of the Rangers experience, sort of just to prove that I could. At age 29, still run, I still do something, and it works fine. Fell over lots, but it works fine. Yeah, certainly a lot easier to do push-ups. The reason why you never see me doing push-ups is because I fell out of a tree. Let me think. 6.5 years ago, I was trying to do a candlestick, which is a trapeze move, in a tree, from a trapeze hanging out of a tree, and the tree branch broke, and that meant that I landed on my back and fucked up my back quite considerably. I also had a very small person at that time who required to be picked up quite regularly. So Matilda was about 8 months old at that stage, and she small people like to be carried around and have you do things. I'm the physiotherapist saying, do not pick up your 9-month-old and carry around on your hip when you stay at home. To carry around your child and put her on your hip does not work. And the you can't fix what's broken. So I have a severe shit time trying to do push-ups. I have a severe shit time trying to do most things that involve my back muscles being in alignment. So that's why I looking into being able to strength train with a barbell. The idea is to basically be able to get the loading off of my spine and ribs, where they're still a bit mashed up after all these years, and I go from there. And that requires me to get my welder out and get some holes drilled in some C-channel, and make myself a safety rack, which means that I can get in the safety rack and not drop the bar on my throat and kill myself. And that will be a very long road, because the starting weight for a barbell is 20 kilos, and me doing 3 sets of 5 will probably start off with me doing 3 sets of 5 at 20 kilos and try and do at a bench press or on a press. I'm probably working out from there. Yeah, it's got to do with the arrangement of my back now. It's very strange. Yeah, anyway, there you go. Don't fall out of trees. Don't hang trapezes out of trees. It's a silly thing to do. Kangaroo dog? Or something else? Something else. Yeah. Ooh, climb a big mountain. So, fingers crossed and watch for that. Especially now we've gone down to running sort of once a week, and doing the other bits and pieces once a week. The other thing I'd like to be able to do, go up here. The other thing I'd like to be able to do is start going swimming more often, so that I get my swimming down pat. Again, I used to swim really, really well as a kid. My mum lost my aunt to asthma when she was only young. So yeah, my aunt Christine, who I knew, she died in childhood or in adolescence. She died of asthma, and Mum swore that I would never have asthma as a child. So I was one of those children who was taken swimming every week, and up until being 10, from about age 4, I can remember I remember swimming already, but I remember being 4 up until the age of 10. I swam twice a week at minimum. Yeah, which was an interesting experience. To go from that to now, I can do side stroke, and I can't hold my breath. I can hold my breath underwater, but I haven't got a fear of water, just not aerobically fit enough to do stuff. Pepper, don't chase the kangaroo. Pepper, come here. Don't chase the kangaroo. Stop it. Where are we going? YouTubers and fitness. So, this really didn't evolve out of that. This evolved more out of the what can V do, what can I do? Is it even possible? Is this just a fallacy? And in 6 weeks we have proven that I think it's very much not a fallacy. In the coming whatever it is weeks, basically hope we're getting more than 5Ks in under half an hour, somewhere around there. If I can run 5Ks over hilly terrain in around about 30 minutes, I think that's a very comfortable level of fitness. Kangaroos are beautiful creatures. They hop amazingly. They hop like we should run. Yeah. But no, so it sort of came out of that ecology of what is it possible to do, and then to very much to make it happen. He said, well, I will record myself doing this, and that will give me the impetus to do it, which is interesting. Which is why I chime in occasionally with input. Come here. This is why I chime in occasionally with input, because it's interesting to have input. So, and I think it's one of those things is that in terms of the modern, you look at the modern world, and it moves more and more towards this medium and platform, this outreach program. It doesn't matter how many people watch it. It doesn't matter how many people view it. It doesn't matter how many people go and do the thing you're doing. It's the fact that you've proven that you've done it that makes it far more interesting. There is a certain amount of, I want to say it was William Gibson, but I think I've got the wrong author. But it was in, what's the name of the book with hero protagonist? What's the name of that book? It's not The Diamond Age. Can't think off the top of my head. Anyway, if you go and do a science fiction series, and hero protagonist is the name of the author of the name of the title character, then you'll realise what I'm talking about. And in that book, there is reference to independent librarians basically wandering around and just recording, data streaming everything they see and do, and trying to let's say, collectivize the unseen. So by producing, can you please get off me? Producing a constant stream source of information of things that are happening around them. There is another book by Cory Doctorow which outlines a similar thing, whereby you, the monks of this order basically catalogue and categorise everything they do as a means of understanding where their time is being used, where the downfall was happening, what's occurring for them, all the rest of it type of things. Monks of serve as such, and that's an interesting idea too. And that's the way I think I referenced this a while ago. I don't know if I ever put the video up, but I referenced this a while ago, in that people who succeed from going from exceptionally overweight, not just overweight, but obese people, the way that when they get fit and they solve the problem of being obese, that is a problem. I think it is a problem. How they change their mentality in a fixed world that's full of junk food and shit and crap. How they solve that problem is they literally document everything they do. They force themselves to go to the gym every day. They force themselves to do the exercise. They force themselves to eat correctly and calorie restrict from their previous diet down to a level that is considered healthy. If you're eating 2,500 calories a day, dog is gone, and you're exercising, then you will not put on weight. You will not be overweight. You'll be reasonably fit. The difference comes about is when you can't categorise what you're eating, or don't log what you're eating, and then you're eating, say, 3,000 calories a day, and you're leading a sedentary lifestyle, which means you're not burning any of those calories. This was the new place I found. I found this log. I really like that log. What I want to know is if anyone else ever comes up here, and if they don't, can I camp here? Do a bit of wild camping. That's the idea anyway. That's why I came back. But yeah, it's very pretty. There's a gully on one side and a gully on the other side, and there's one little bit to get in over there, and it's quite pretty otherwise. And if not here, then maybe further up there. It depends. You want to be out of view of everyone. You don't want to be down the gullies, because if it rains, the gullies fill up pretty bloody quick. So yeah, if you're eating 3,000 calories a day and you're leading a sedentary lifestyle, getting up, going to work, coming home from work, watching TV, and eating crap all day, then you will put on weight. That's not rocket science. That's just blatantly obvious. I live in a country which is now more morbidly obese than even America is. So Australians actually have a worse diet and are more overweight per capita, per person, than Americans are. That is astounding to me. You came back. Oh, good. That just blows my mind. I think that's a thing. Which way are we going? We're going that way. Okay, we'll go this way. Dog said so. Yeah, so YouTube stars, creating, soap opera ship like, false. It's that part of that mentality, it's that part of that brain that says, like and subscribe and do this thing. Don't like this, don't subscribe to me, I don't give a shit. Subscribe to V. That makes all the difference. Push that rather than this. Yeah. And I'm a mad fucking English person stuck in Australia, ranting into a very cheap mobile phone. There's a hole there. Ranting to a mobile phone for something to do as part of an assignment for university, if I'm honest. You know, that is the sum total of why I do this, because I find it interesting. So yeah, I think the subscribe functionality on YouTube is only interesting in steering the algorithm to point things out to you that you should be looking at, and not at the things you probably are looking at. So whenever you go and look at something on YouTube, the little algorithm says, oh, you just watched a video about, you watched a video about bodybuilding, for example, or you watched a video about fitness training. Now we'll go and find the top 5 grossing people on YouTube talking about fitness training, and you can go and look at those videos too. We'll show you all the clips about those videos, and in my case, I could not give a shit about what your average bodybuilder says about the universe. I think bodybuilders are pretty much mad. I think they're stuck in looking like He-Man. What are we doing, dog? There's lots of rocks, isn't there? There's not a lot of dirt though. Yeah, this is very pretty. Lots of pine trees though. So yeah, I think the average bodybuilder on YouTube is it's stopped being this glorified weirdness that comes out every so often. I think people like Dorian Yates, Arnold Schwarzenegger, can't think of the other guy's name. Those guys in the late 70s and early 80s, when it was this underground thing. I think that's when it was a thing. You want to run a cycle of steroids now, it's fucking easy to do it. Run run growth hormone and steroids. It's supremely easy to access those drugs. It's supremely easy to access information about how to fucking take them and what to do and all the rest of it. And it's supremely easy to access knowledge about fitness, nutrition that basically allows you to cut your weight. I don't think it does anything for you. I don't think it makes you any stronger. I think you look like a tit. Come here, that's far enough. Come on. Come here. She's gone all the way over there. I don't think it does anything for you. I subscribe to the Henry Rollins, a supremely maximal deadlift is a supremely maximal deadlift. I think that's a far more worthy thing to go and play with in terms of lifting weights. I think how big your chesticles are and how big your biceps are is useless. I think how much you can squat and how much you can deadlift and how much you can strictly press above your head is far more useful. I think Olympic weightlifting is far more useful as an ideal, but not to the detriment of being able to, don't take that to mean that I support the idea of powerlifting where you're unable to tie your shoes and you can't run to catch a bus. If you can't run 2.4 kilometers, at what I can run it at 40, nearly 40, then, there's something seriously wrong. There's a reason why that table exists. There's a reason why that is the minimum standard required by the British military, by the American Army, by the US Marines. There's a reason why those tables exist for all of these forces, because as much as people would like to disagree with it, your ability to run a mile and a half does show something of your ability in a wider realm of things. There is a fairy wren. Normally means there's another fairy wren and another fairy wren. I've hung around long enough and they've ignored me now. I don't care about me talking. Yeah, so I think that's, don't don't be an ultra marathon runner, run a marathon. That's good. Be able to know your limits and know that you can run a marathon, in a reasonable time. Eddie Izzard has proven that is possible for an awful lot more people than thought it was. That's just commitment. So is all this stuff. But be able to squat a reasonable amount, be able to press a decent amount, be able to, get through what Ripto talks about as being a linear progression. But take what he says with a grain of salt. The guy makes money out of writing books, and probably not owning a gym, but writing books and producing media about being a strength coach. He turns, very skinny or very fat teenagers into being very strong people for college athletics programs in America. And he does a superbly good job, and he has some superbly important and useful information which you can use, which you can hack, come on, and go and use to mean that you can don't knock me over, stop running behind me. He has some amazing information, some amazing video resources that you can use to go and learn how to perform some pretty cool trickery of the body to make yourself stronger. Watch here for what happens when we start doing that. At least on my side of things. I'm interested to see what I'm capable of. This will not feed my body dysmorphia. If you don't think you have body dysmorphia, then you're lying to yourself. As far as I can see in the modern world, I think everyone has body dysmorphia in the modern world. Do I want abs? Part of me, yes, and part of me says no, that's a stupid idea. But I do very much assess myself, as I think everyone else does, versus my appearance. What do I look like compared to other people? At the moment I look like a hairy, slightly woolly man climbing up a hill in a shit state of breathing. I have to say though, climbing up hills is nowhere near as scary as it used to be 6 weeks ago. This shit used to actually make me tired. Now I can just go, now I just roll with it. Pepper, come here! You're on the wrong side of the fence! Don't go through fences. Yeah. YouTube stars. Not very useful. Same with vegan dietitians. Your average person on YouTube has not got any understanding of nutritional level, and I'm going to go out on a risk here, so I'm going to piss some people off, but I'm going to say your average vegan YouTuber probably has a lot more body dysmorphia than what I have. Your average YouTuber in fitness, who is known for being a fitness YouTuber, probably has more body dysmorphia than anyone you ever wanted to hang around with. I think in terms of people being obese, I think they can solve that problem. I think they need help. I think they need support in solving it. And it's certainly interesting to see what they're capable of, just to prove to others that, that's a doable thing. Stand on the log when crossing the log, don't step over it. Otherwise you'll stand on a snake. This will be your last video. Yeah. I want to know what that is. Someone tell me what that is. I don't know what it is, but there's a lot of it and it's a weed. I can tell it's a weed. That's a casuarina tree. I quite like casuarina trees. Yeah. So, Pepper! Oh, let's go this way. Why not? Alright, you're right, go that way. Let's go. Yeah. I'm not going to lose my next video, so I'm just going to do this for a second. See, I learnt last time that my phone can only do certain things and it cannot do more than what it was finitely resourced to do. The FAT32 system of storage is not overly useful for video recording at whatever the hell quality this is. The files get too big too fast and it can't run it. Right, so body dysmorphia. Yeah, it's something I touched on last time when I watched the video. Body dysmorphia. You know, I think anyone from my generation will recognise body dysmorphia probably better. You know, and it's stupid because it's an unattainable wish for most people. You know, should you go and run? Yes. Should you care about whether or not you're fit? Yes. Should you care about how strong you are? Yes. Should you care about whether or not you are in the obese range in the BMI calendar? Probably yes. There are obviously, you know, certain people who that does not work for. I've known a few rugby players in my time, and every rugby player I ever knew was categorised as being obese, and they could sprint across a rugby field, pick up a ball, kick it for how long's a rugby game? Who even knows? Anyway, I don't even watch rugby. Anyway, they were bloody fit. So the BMI index does not work for trained individuals. It does work for your average person though. Pepper, please don't have whatever it is alone. Yeah, it does work for your average individual who's sedentary. You know, if you're watching this, you're probably not a rugby player. If you are a rugby player, then say hello. Because one of those things, I never played rugby as a young man because I was very, very underweight as a young man. Go back half an hour in recording, find out why. But rugby is a fascinating game. You know, rugby union is a game of toffs as far as I'm concerned. But you know, it is a different level of commitment to training. I wish someone had instead of AFL being a thing when I was growing up, Australian rules, Australian league football being a thing when I was growing up. I wish rugby had been a thing, rugby union specifically. League can go get stuffed. League's just a stupid game. Union's lovely though. But yeah, go Swansea University union team, women's side at least. Men's side can go get bent, but the Swansea University women's side can go and storm to victory this year for me, please. Yeah. So yeah, diet, fitness, you know. Isn't technology weird? You know, I can't quite, just because of where I am location-wise. Pepper, don't. Pepper, don't. I can't live stream this to the internet. Our service is just not fast enough here for me to be able to do that. I'm going to have a look at one of the external modems, but I think they all have to be powered by, I don't think I can get around powering them by, say, USB, which would allow me to live broadcast. Pepper, here! Oi! Get here now! Here! I don't know if that's possible. Pepper! Leave the bloody kangaroo alone. Well, we'll try. We'll see what happens. It'd be interesting if we could. You know, just more for the playing with the algorithm than anything else. You know, you go into a live stream every day, and that's an interesting thing if you're an algorithm on YouTube. Come here! Get up the hill now. You ran down it. Yeah. Oh, sandy paths with many undulations. Let's go around a big loop now. Lots of ums, always lots of ums. Train of thought, not consciousness. If not ums, then ahs. Ah. I must have tied dog actually stopped for a drink. Dog is well, everyone else still has a shitty fluey cold. That's always fun. 7-year-olds do not like having the cold. It doesn't make them very happy individuals having a cold, having snot pour out of their nose. You know, it's pretty much the grossest thing you can have. Fix that shit, someone. That'll probably, if you fix the cold, I imagine that would be the outcome. That'd be the downfall of mankind if we fix the common cold. I think that would be like, you know, 50 years later, we would all die of something weird that was actually, you know, that the cold stopped us from dying from. That would be our own fun and games. I have not finished my report yet. That's what I'm going to go home and do. So yeah, succeeded in getting out of bed a lot earlier the last couple of days. Just for the fact of forcing myself to go to sleep a lot earlier. I was listening to some research that talking about, it came from the NHS, weirdly enough, and it was talking about how you should sleep with socks on in cold weather, because what happens is your feet are cold. The idea behind it is your feet are cold, and if your feet are cold, then your core temperature has to be maintained at a certain level to mean that it warms up your feet, because your feet are a long way from your heart. At least in my height they are, you know, and correspondingly it means that you're warmer in bed. You actually get very hot in bed. Whereas if you wear a pair of socks, then your feet are naturally insulated, and that will mean that you will sleep sounder, because your core temperature can actually drop down because your feet don't require quite so much blood flow to them, which allows your circulation to slow down that sparrow's farts more and work there, which is an interesting idea. So I tried it out last night, and I have to say, you know, -1, -2 degrees, probably about 5 degrees in my, well, maybe 10 degrees in my bedroom last night, and it made a hell of a difference to my, you know, I did not wake up with cold feet, which was nice. Oh look, someone's building a shelter. Go check that out. Someone's been watching Ray Mears. Yeah, I don't know how well we can pick that up. Someone's been building a lean-to. It's called a gunya in Australia, or at least they have started. They've probably picked the wrong spot, because I guarantee there is an ant's nest within striking distance. But it's still an interesting idea. Yes, Pepper, where are you going that way? So yeah, the idea, bit of the thing I was saying, like, you know, wear socks in bed. That will keep your feet are warmer, which means you can actually, your core temperature will drop, which means it will sleep more soundly throughout your sleep cycles. So I tried it out, and my feet weren't cold. And normally my feet are frozen in the morning, which did make me, funnily enough, I don't know why, but not having cold feet meant that when I woke up, because I didn't feel as cold, it meant that wind picked up. It meant that I was a bit fast getting out of bed. You know, I was not trying to rub my feet here. I was not trying to rub my feet up and down, get my feet warm enough to want to get out of bed, because my feet were already warm. So for that, at least, it was useful. I will keep reporting back on my feet in bed situation and see what happens. You know, especially over the coming 2 months of moderately cold weather. You know, what are we? We're about 2 weeks off of midwinter here. Oh, I'll say 2 weeks off of the solstice, so probably about a month off of midwinter here. You know, it gets cold, but it doesn't get much colder, and it hangs around, being obstinate. But soon enough it will be 4,000 degrees at 5 o'clock in the morning. One of my other reasons for going back to swimming is because in October the local pool will open, local outdoor pool will open, and hopefully it will not be a complete shit show if I have practiced swimming a bit in the indoor pool in town. I got my capacity up for swimming a bit more. So that might mean some stroke correction classes again. Stroke correction classes is a bit like swimming lessons. If you know how to swim, you know how to swim. It's more about putting your arms and legs in exactly the right spot to make you glide and go a bit faster, which makes it a hell of a lot easier to swim. It's a bit like running. You know, people think it's easy to run. It's not easy to run well. You know. As V reminded me the other day, breathe in through your nose, breathe out through your mouth when running as much as possible. And I always like to say, you are trying to run on the balls of your feet. What is my addition to that statement? Breathe in and out, breathe in through your nose, out through your mouth, and run on the balls of your feet. If you have a skipping rope and you can skip, then the same motion of skipping, not the same motion, the same foot strike, the skipping, will serve you very well in running. You will increase your ability to run quickly because you're using your feet as they're supposed to be used. You're not supposed to run on your heels. Running on your heels jars your legs and hurt your feet. Right then, I think I've come to the end of my walkies for today. Well, I've come to the end of my little bit path in a moment. Was there anything else? Yeah. Oh, the only other thing that I struck up was eating. There was a bit of research done that said you should eat 5 pieces of fruit and veg a day. And a piece of fruit or a serve of fruit and or veg was considered to be 80 grams. So, one of those things to go and do. And then there was subsequent research that said that if you, I think it was Imperial College London, if you want to go and Google it, Imperial College London, they were talking about if you ate 10 pieces of fruit and vegetables a day, 10 pieces of fruit and vegetables a day, yeah, so 10 in total, 10 servings, so that's 800 grams across the course of a day, then you would lower your risk. It was like incidental risk of like heart attack, all these other bits and pieces were all lowered drastically by you just eating fruit and vegetables. Now, can we all go and eat 10 bits of fruit and veg a day? Almost guaranteed, because if you're me, I forgot my banana. I was going to do a demonstration of banana. You know, a banana is a piece of fruit. A mandarin is a piece of fruit. You know, if you're eating a fucking donut for morning tea at work, you know, go and replace that with, you know, a piece of citrus fruit and a banana. Do the same thing for afternoon tea. You know, have some frozen blueberries in your porridge in the morning. You know, have half a cut up banana. You know, instead of having ice cream for dessert, if you're one of those people who likes dessert, then go and get some zero fat yogurt or some coconut yogurt with no sugar added, and go and put some frozen fruit in it, and you'll very quickly be up there, just with your normal, you know, if you eat a moderately normal diet, a moderately healthy diet for your 3 main meals of the day. Yeah. Right. Leave you there, I think. I'll go that way. You go and do whatever it is you're going to do. Have a nice time. Be nice to one another. Go for a run. Today was go for a walk, Dave. Go for a run if you haven't been for a run, or go for a walk when you're ready to. Go and do that, and go and record the results. You know, go on, make a silly long YouTube video, and let's take over YouTube by announcing the fact that everyone's gone for a run today. That's just a funny old thing to do. You know, capitalism brought out this thing that said that we would all make money off of making videos, and we restructured it so that everyone went for a run 3 times a week. Anyway, have fun, enjoy yourselves, and take care.